Ideas are discovered in wonderlands. This insight occurred to me during a conversation with my notes using the app Mem. It was one of those moments where I wasn't really trying to find anything, just following what caught my attention. The whole process of thinking with my notes feels a lot like jazz, right? There's no structure, no agenda, just improvisation. You follow the spark of curiosity and see where it leads. So in today's deep and wide thinking session, we're going to explore following the intrigue, making unexpected connections, how a mistake actually sparked a new idea, linguistic deep dives, and then turning note-taking into an idea jam session. So let's dive in. It all started with a conversation. I had told MemChat to surprise me with a random note. Okay, so I'm in Mem right now, and on the right-hand side, we have the chat. Surprise me with a random note. And it comes back with, here's a note that might intrigue you. Surprise me, random note trick on Mem. I had wrote this down a while ago, right? Maybe last year when trying Mem out. And it was interesting that it came back with that note. And I could have passed on it and been like, oh, let's try another note. But I followed the thought trail anyways. So I followed the intrigue. I was intrigued by the word surprise. So I asked chat for the definition of surprise, as you can see right here. Yeah, what's the definition of surprise? Surprise is often defined as a feeling of wonder and amazement caused by something unexpected or familiar. The first line of the response caught my attention. Right? It said surprise is often defined as a feeling of wonder or amazement caused by something unexpected or unfamiliar. So I followed that. I followed it, right? This is interesting. Wonder can be caused by the unexpected. Like if we want to wonder more, we should wander into the unfamiliar. Hey, before I continue on, I wanted to let you know about my free note-making guide. The video that you're watching now is a result of me following this process and these methods. If you follow what's in this guide, you'll never have to worry about getting stuck creatively. You'll have a flowing river of unique ideas for the projects that you're working on. You'll discover sticky analogies that will spice up your ideas, and then you'll create a rhythm to slow down. How many of us need to slow down? I know I need to slow down. And you'll have a rhythm to think deeply more often. So if you're interested in any of that, click the link in the description below. All right, let's keep going. And it happened because I was just typing out my thoughts, going back and forth. Here, I'm following the intrigue trail. No agenda, just going after the thought scent, right? As if I'm hunting something and I smell there's something, over in the woods, and it's about 20 feet away, and there's something there. I can't see it, but there's something there I know, so I need to follow that. So that's what happened here. Now, MemChat brought up something unexpected for me. A note on the idea of creating close conversations through marveling together, and how we can have deep moments of intimacy with each other by marveling together. Let's take a look at that real quick. So after I had wrote, if we want to wonder more, we should wander into the unfamiliar, it started talking about embracing curiosity as one of my notes. And then here, additionally, your note on creating close conversations through marveling wonder highlights how wonder can enhance social connections by shifting focus away from ourselves and towards the world around us. After reading through creating close conversations, I went into the note here, and I was reading through it. And as I read through it, I came back with a response that wonder helps move toward connection to people. And I bet it does with ideas too. This is just me actually thinking out loud here. And it's also interesting to note that being in wonder is always about something or someone else, right? Like you aren't in wonder about yourself. So being surprised can take you into a wonderland. And this Wonderland helps you focus on things other than yourself. You can see the progression, right, of the chat, and how ideas are just bubbling up, new ones and old ones. This idea of chatting with your notes, it unlocks something within you that a blank page never can. It's like when you're in a conversation with a friend and you end up saying things that maybe surprise you, things that you didn't know were actually in your mind and your heart. And it's similar when chatting with your notes. Of course, it's not the same thing. It's a robot. It's not a person. But it's a good place to start if you want to just kind of tease or just work out your own thinking, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know that I would have thought of Wonderland if I was just writing in a note, but the idea is now the core idea, that ideas are discovered in wonderlands. All right, how a mistake sparked a new idea. So I ended up trying to search for a note that was titled, "When was the last time you did something for the first time?" But I accidentally put it as part of the chat, but it led to something else. As you can see here, I started typing, "When's the last time?" and I hit enter, and so MemChat kind of flowed with it. Even though it was a mistake, saying, "It seems like that you're reflecting on the idea of doing something for the first time," which brought up the note that I was trying to actually search for. When was the last time you did something for the first time? And how this leads to discovering a lot of treasure, is what I say in the note. Let me open it up. When was the last time you did something for the first time? Is just the title of the note. And I just thought, I notice that when I do things for the first time, I find a lot of treasure, right? A lot of gold, a lot of valuable things when I do that. And so, like I mentioned, chat just kind of rolled with my notes, with my mistake, and we ended up riffing on this idea of doing new things as a way to enter into the Wonderland. And at this point, in the chat, I was going back and forth quite a bit, so I had to summarize in my own words what we were talking about. And this summarization led to the question, okay, how does this impact ideas? Let me circle back to what I'm trying to think about, which is the ideas are found in wonderlands. And this led to a thought of ideas live in wonderlands, and to get to wonderlands mentally or physically, like, you need to try new things, right? So you can see the progression. I say this is interesting. I didn't mean to type that in the chat, but doing things for the first time, it does create a wonderland of sorts. And so this is me summarizing, right? I had to kind of close the thought loops that I was opening up. I opened up a lot. It's like I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking, and I opened up all the cabinets, and all the cabinets are open, and it looks like chaotic, right? That's what I did. I was in the kitchen in my mind kitchen, and I opened up all the cabinets, and I hadn't shut the doors yet. So I needed to close the loops, which was this summarization. So it all started with a surprise me note, which led to the idea that wonder can be caused by the unexpected, which led to the idea that wonder is always others focused. And now we're at doing things for the first time. You create a wonderland by constantly putting yourself in situations where you're experiencing things for the first time. One tip: summarize as you go. This is a great technique for me personally. You can chat for a long time not realizing that you've gone down 40 paths, like I just mentioned. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all, but it helped me to close some thought loops and tie things together. And the other thing is, it's good to ask if you're still headed in the same direction, right? My question on how does this impact ideas was my brain trying to connect everything back to the main topic, the main idea. Okay. Linguistic exploration. Now, I had a thought, like, what is the definition of wonderland? So I followed that scent, right? After Googling, I found a definition that hit the spot. Wonderland is defined as being a place that excites admiration or wonder. Here it is. I looked up the definition of wonderland, and it means a place that excites admiration or wonder. This is good. Admiration is key, right? And the word excites is an intriguing as a verb. Like a wonderland is a place where admiration is stirred. And admiration means a feeling of respect and approval, often mixed with awe or appreciation. So it's like it's a place that inspires deep respect and appreciation because of its beauty and uniqueness or significance. So this led to a curiosity of what excites means, right? Which is to stir up. So wonderlands, they're active, right? They are places where admiration is not floating, but flowing. The admiration is stirred up like a snow globe shaken up. This wasn't in the chat right here, but I wrote it down as I was reverse engineering my process. And I thought that was a great analogy. When you shake up a snow globe, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of, it looks like it's chaos of snowflakes when it really is beautiful when you shake up a snow globe. There's chaos, but there's also beauty. So let's talk about linguistic exploration. This is one of my favorite ways to dive into an idea. It's super simple. You just look up the definition and synonyms of words. And I've talked about this on videos in the past, but I keep bringing it up because it's one of my main methods to diving deep. So you look for the word that moves you or makes you go, whoa. And I didn't stop at finding the definition. I actually wrote about what I think about it, right? Writing helps engrave ideas into your mind. And this can be done in layers. What do I mean? I mean that I found the definition of wonderland, and within that definition, the word excites stood out to me, which is the word stirs up. So I followed that. It's almost like an inception with words, right? I find that it deepens the meaning of the idea when I go a few layers in. Turning note-taking into an idea jam session. Chat's response included the word awe, which triggered a new connection for me. Just the one word, awe, right? To which I responded with how it reminds me of the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That there's the scripture in the book of Proverbs that talks about that. Well, it's all over the Bible, but it's a whole other connection. It only takes one word to trigger a new connection. And I thought, it's a lot like you're in a jam session, right? The piano plays a solo for a bit and then hands it off to the guitarist who plays for a bit. And so it's like the mem chat was playing a little bit of a solo here. Like here. They were playing a little bit. All right, now it's your turn. Okay, let me play a solo a little bit, and I'm gonna riff off of your idea, and then back and forth. Okay, I'm gonna riff off your idea, and how this leads to awe, and then I'm gonna riff off this idea, and we go back and forth like a dance. I'm reminded of the importance of awe in the Bible. It was a really cool experiment to go back and forth like that. And I find that it's easier to find connections when you have another voice in the mix. Maybe it's a conversation with a friend, or in this case, a conversation with a robot. But in this case, the robot has access to my notes, so it's like I'm chatting with my notes, almost. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. The process here of how I actually got to ideas are discovered in Wonderlands. This was just like a chatting phase, right? As you can see, this actually went through a lot of variations. V1, V2, V1 is when I took everything in chat and I started looking at putting it in bullet points in no particular order. I just started putting stuff in here because I wanted to start kind of working this in and making it into a more concrete thing. Whereas this is just like a conversation back and forth. It was a little hard to follow. Obviously, I can't just share the conversation. If I wanted to share this, I need to crystallize it and distill it and try to get it to a place where I wanted it, which is where you're seeing these different variations. What I finally landed on this V4 right here, which I'll read to you. When was the last time you did something for the first time? All right, this question is powerful. It can lead you into a wonderland where fresh ideas reside. Wonderlands can be places or people, anything that stirs up awe within you. You see, wonder is never about you. Think about it. When's the last time you felt in awe of yourself? It doesn't happen. Wonder is always about something beyond you. It pulls you outward, expanding your awareness. The word wonderland literally means a place that excites admiration and awe. It doesn't just contain admiration, it stirs it up. Right? It's alive, flowing like a river, carrying new ideas downstream. And it reminds me of how awe leads to wisdom. Proverbs 1:7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge." Psalm 111:10 echoes it. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And that word fear in this sense isn't about terror, being afraid. It's about reverence, about awe and a wonder at who God is. So, if you're looking for fresh ideas, step into a wonderland by doing something for the first time, or something you've not done in a very long time. Slide down a slide at a playground, ride a bike, draw a stick figure, build a fort, play an instrument, watch a movie you used to watch as a kid, take awe walks as a family. So that's it. This was the final note. All of that process to get to this distilled atomic note that I have now, but it was well worth it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep thinking deep and wide. I'll see you on the next video.